At this point, we are able to speak to an employee from the theater who was working at the time of the shooting.
When it happened, I was in the bathroom, and there was two little girls talking about an active shooter in Odessa. And then they left and came back in and said, "Get out, there's an active shooter." When I got outside the bathroom, our two security guards from Synergy had their guns out, aimed towards the front of the Synergy.
For more stories like this and information, visit our website at yourbasin.com. But we have confirmed that the scene at Synergy is cleared, and Synergy will be opening today at 11:30 a.m. And all the names of the victims killed in the mass shooting this weekend have been released. We sent reporters out to learn more about their story and who they were in hopes of keeping their memory alive. Here's what we know so far. 29-year-old Mary Granados of Odessa, a mail carrier for the United States Postal Service, was engaged and excited to celebrate the Labor Day holiday. She was also had a twin sister who was on the phone with her at the time of the shooting. Her family says she will be remembered for her lively personality. And another person killed, Rodolfo Arco, known many as to his loved ones as Rudy. His family says Rudy was a loving father, grandfather, and friend. He was driving home from work when he was hit by gunfire, and a GoFundMe page has been set up in his name. And Layla Hernandez was a 15-year-old killed. She was a sophomore at Odessa High School. Yesterday, friends and fellow students decorated a tree at Odessa High in her honor. They tied ribbons around the tree and hung photos of Hernandez from the branches. Anyone's encouraged to wear the color again today, yellow, in Layla's honor. ECISD is also offering counseling services to students who may need someone to talk to. And another of the fallen, Cameron Brown. Brown was a former Army veteran. His brother, Carlton Brown, learned the devastating news from his cousin and had to tell the rest of his family that his brother was gone. Carlton Brown remembers his brother and his strong personality.
You know how to make everybody laugh. Always wanted to make sure that your spirits were up even when he wasn't always at his best.
Edwin Peregrino was also someone who enjoyed life to the fullest. He was one of the first victims shot and killed instantly by the shooter in his neighborhood near 38th and Walnut. A close neighbor of his once said she received the bad news from her mother. She hoped Edwin was still alive. But she says Edwin and his brother-in-law went out the back door and heard gunshots, and that's when they were both shot, except Edwin didn't make it.
I know Edwin, he wouldn't want to see us cry, because as he would say, before Saturday, he was living his best life. So I know that he'd want everybody still to live your best life.
Edwin's family isn't ready to speak to us just yet, but we were told that his brother-in-law is still at MCH recovering from his injuries. And we're learning more about Joe Griffith, a man who was slain in front of his entire family on Saturday. His big sister, Carla Byrne, was at the ALF-CIO annual Labor Day event on Monday. Their 63rd annual event turned into a memorial to honor the victims. Big 2's Jake Eichstad spoke with Carla Byrne, who shared what happened to her little brother.
On Saturday, my baby brother left his home with his wife and his two children to go and get their photos made, family pictures. And as he was at a light at Faudree, this monster drove up next to his car, stopped, took his AR-15, leaned out of the postal van, and shot my brother in front of his children. My brother was slain like he was nothing. They had to pull him out onto the side of the road. My sister-in-law had to tell my nephew and niece to sit in the bar ditch out of traffic as she tried to stop the flow of blood. I want the world to know that my brother was such a good man who loved the Lord, who loved his family, and his life was taken too soon. anything.